fucks left. No, no. I have no fucks, right? Oh, oh. I have no fucks left. No, no. So fuck off. I'm busy. Bye-bye. Piss off. Not sorry. Don't cry. The fucking machine is out of order. So fuck yourself and save a quarter.
What do you call an elf that runs away from Santa's workshop? A rebel without a clause. And you're listening to an all-new episode of No Fucks Left.
Don't cry. The fuck off.
Greetings, salutations, hello everyone, happy holidays. Thank you for coming on by. You're listening to No Fucks Left with Landyn Shaw. That's me. And I'm so excited about today's episode. It's a big one. We kind of teased it last week when we did our Wicked Awesome episode. And I made a special point in the program notes of not necessarily giving away who our special guests were on that episode. One of them was my wife, the professor. And the other one was this guest that I do a great interview with today. So now we're going to kind of give it away. So if you did not listen to that episode, I'm sorry. This will be a spoiler alert a bit. But this interview is with none other than Broadway's Kristy Cates, one of the OG Elphabas. And I'm so excited about this interview. It was a great opportunity to catch up with Kristy. So that's a part of this episode. And then, of course, the public demands, and it's been a while, so we needed to make sure we got AJ's hot takes into this one. So because this is such a full episode, I'm not really going to do much of a monologue. I'm just going to blast right into the word of the day. So can I get that theme song, please?
What's the word? The word of the day. What's the word? What will Landyn say?
Excellent. Yes, we missed this one too. So, because this obviously is the holiday season, and it comes up a couple of times throughout this episode, we have to make Christmas the word of the day. So, Christmas is, of course, the word of the day. So you know what to do. Anytime you hear that word, you're going to yell, you're going to scream, you're going to dance, you're going to sing a Christmas carol. You're going to, shake your booty, get warm if you're cold. Just whatever you can to let everyone around you know that you're listening to a very fun, exciting podcast. And if they ask what you're doing, just simply say, I am responding to the word of the day. Thank you very much. And if they ask what that is, tell them they need to tune in to No Fucks Left with Landyn Shaw on the double. And I would really appreciate that. So again, today's word of the day is Christmas.
This is another segue. I seg what you say. Another segue. Ooh la la la. Sing it again.
All right, so let me tell you a little bit about my guest today. As I said, my guest is Kristy Cates, who is someone that I have had the pleasure of not only knowing for quite a long time, but I actually worked with her. This is the first interview with someone that I directly worked with, and to say that it was anything less than spectacular would be an understatement. I enjoyed my time with Kristy very much. We did this great little original musical called Unbeatable, and Kristy was the star of that. She had done a couple of, I think, workshops and productions of this before our production that we did. And we did it for quite a long time. It was a full, union run, 8 shows a week. And what was kind of unique about this production for me in my life was that the day before I started rehearsals for this show, I was officially diagnosed with Parkinson's. So this show will always kind of have a special place in my heart and in my brain, in my memories, because of that, obviously, because, talk about, getting kind of a severe blow. You know, I get the Parkinson's diagnosis, and then the next day I'm starting rehearsals for one of the bigger shows that I've been a part of in terms of just acting, and it had been quite a while for me. And so it was really kind of mind-blowing for me that I was about to enter this big contract with this kind of shadow looming over me. And I felt a tremendous amount of guilt. So I was sure to tell the producer and tell everyone associated with the show what, you know, my news was, basically. And they were so wonderful. I'll never forget that. Everyone was just so incredibly supportive and encouraging. And it couldn't have been a better show to kind of, you know, if there is such a thing, as kind of being in while I was dealing with this, because the show dealt with this amazing woman in real life who was battling stage 4 breast cancer and makes it and is unbeatable. And that's what I felt throughout this show. And it was because of the amazing cast. And Kristy was obviously a large part of that because she was our star. And so it was really a lot of fun. Let me tell you just a little bit about Kristy, because I want to get to this interview. She's a graduate of CCM, an amazing university, as we all know. She's enjoyed a very, very successful career as an actress, singer, dancer all over the country, and specifically on Broadway. She was in the original company of Wicked, as we all know, and she appeared as Elphaba in Wicked not only on Broadway, but also in the Chicago production and the first national tour. She's also portrayed Miss Bassett in Finding Neverland and Grandma Josephine in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, both of those also on Broadway. And then she was featured in Jerry Springer, the opera at Carnegie Hall. She's done tons of off-Broadway and regional productions. I know she's worked at the Muni. She's performed at Carnegie Hall and pretty much all over New York. And now she has the honor and privilege, although I would say her students also are very privileged, to be a part of New York Film Academy. She's been teaching for quite some time. She started as kind of like an instructor on basically how to act the song, and then that morphed into a bigger role with the university. Eventually, she became the head of the musical theater program. And then on the day that we did this interview, you'll hear that she reveals in that interview, she was then starting officially that day as now the head of the College of the Performing Arts. So she now oversees the entire College of Performing Arts at New York Film Academy. I am so proud of her. It was a great interview, and I'm so thankful that she sat down with me. So without any further ado, please enjoy my interview with Kristy Cates.
This is another sad way of saying what you say. Another sad way.
Hi.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm really good. It's so good to see your face.
It's so good to see you. Thank you again for doing this. It means a lot to me.
Of course. Are you okay that I'm just using like regular Zoom and not a mic and all that? It's
Totally.
Okay.
Totally. Whatever works for you. I
mean, don't plug my mic in, but I think if this is okay, then
it's perfect.
Let me
Perfect.
put my do not disturb on. Leave me alone, people. Okay.
You're popular.
Well, but
Yes. You look amazing. You sound amazing.
You look amazing. Thank you.
Thanks.
Look
This
at
is
you.
wild. I know.
It's so great. It's so great.
Thanks.
Good.
I'm very, very happy. Very happy. Happier than I've ever been. Truly.
That. I mean, that's, and that's something that I'm assuming we'll that's something we will speak about is stepping into your authenticity, which is so important.
Well, we can start wherever you want. I mean,
well, I'm going to let you lead me.
Okay.
In full disclosure, today is the first day of me being the head of the College of Performing Arts at my school.
Get out of here.
Yeah. So I was the head of musical theater. Now I'm the head of all
Right.
performing arts. And I woke up with like a sore throat and a headache, and I'm just like, and 40 emails that I have no idea how to navigate.
Oh yeah. And after this, you'll probably have 100,000 emails.
Right. Well, I've turned it off. I can't even see what they're sending me right now. I'll figure it out. Jobs are just hard. Like my job in musical theater with school is like that I can I'm in charge. Like I can just answer it. It's always more taxing when you're like, I don't know this protocol, this student, I don't know. So it's
Yeah.
it's a good problem to have.
Right. Absolutely. I know some things about you, but like I would love to know more about like just young Kristy. You're in California, the youngest of 6, right? You have 6?
That's right. So
Yeah.
my mom had 2, my dad had 3. They got married, they had me. So it's kind of Brady Bunch-esque, but I'm the only product of the 2 of them. But I'm very close to I mean, my siblings are all quite a bit older than me. The one closest to my age is 10 years older than I am.
Okay.
But like my eldest sister, my eldest brother, who both are still over, out in the West Coast.
Right.
Yeah, I'm close with them. So
So you were
yeah,
the baby.
I was the baby, and there was none of my family members ever even did like a school play. Like it was not in our blood. But my dad grew up with, I'm going to get the number wrong, I want to say 11 brothers and sisters.
Oh my
And
gosh.
I know. And they all played guitar. So like my earliest memories are my dad and his brothers like sitting and playing guitar, and my dad playing like at Christmas at the not the insurance Rotary Club, at the Rotary Club Christmas parties, like I have a blue, like, and me sitting with him and singing. So and we had this fireplace in my home growing up that had like a I want to say it was like a 1.5 foot like step
Yeah.
up.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it was
Yeah.
actually my stage.
Love it.
And
Love
it's
it.
so funny now, as the mom of a 10-year-old who, I took her to a Christmas party the other night. She didn't want to leave because she was singing karaoke all night,
Yeah.
So it's like,
Now,
yeah,
did you think your dad was like a rock star at the time? Just
my dad was like impossibly handsome and so confident and kind of boisterous and like
yeah.
the personality in the room. And so like my mom was not that way at all. So I didn't know, like I just watched people admire him.
Right.
You
Right.
know what I mean?
Yep.
Like
Totally. Totally.
like I think the ladies all had a little crush on it, like that sort of
Yeah.
thing. He would get, and he had a great voice. He sounded like Elvis and Bing Crosby mixed together.
Oh, that's a
Yeah.
great combo.
Yeah, but he had horrible stage fright. So
Oh,
like he could do that sort of thing, but I guess as a kid, like he really wanted to pursue it, but he would get on stage and sing one line and then be totally lost.
done.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I grew up, my mom passed away at the beginning of last year, and I was,
Yeah.
going through all of these like old boxes of things, and like she kept everything. She was always there. I have all these amazing cards that my sister wrote me about like being her star, even when I was like 8 years
Oh,
old. So I grew up with so much love and
love.
support. One
Yeah.
of my favorite things that I think Tina Fey said it. Tina said, I grew up, with my parents giving me more confidence than was equal to my talent level. Something I'm butchering how she said it, but I heard that. I was
I
like,
love it. So
yeah,
were you the prototypical like baby? Were you spoiled? Did
oh, was I
everyone
spoiled?
dote on you?
Not really. I mean, they may have a different view of it. But like I was so independent, Landon. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
I just remember being like so I don't even want to say confident, because I'm not sure it
Right.
was that, but like I only wanted to do things that I was good good at.
Yes.
That also
Yeah.
helped. But no, I was a competitive swimmer from age 6 to 18.
Yeah.
So that instilled so much in me. And I always felt like my family was proud of me.
Yeah.
Did they dote on me? No, I think my mom had me when she was 36 or 37 years old. She was tired.
Okay. Yeah.
Do you know what
Yeah.
I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But my siblings took good care of me, and I mean, so did my parents, obviously.
Right.
But
Right.
yeah, I had a great childhood. Yeah.
That's awesome. Because I mean, I found it interesting that you were the youngest because you, to me, because I'm the eldest, have the energy of being the oldest. You have the confidence,
Ah,
energy, the vibrato of, yeah.
I think, I think it's the age gap.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
That,
honestly, I think it's the age gap
yeah.
because I mean, they were out of the house. And so it did feel like an only child, except on
Yes.
holidays and birthdays and that sort of thing. But um, I can see how you,
Yeah.
yeah. But you
And
haven't met
so,
my sister. But you haven't met my sister, my elder. Then you'd be,
oh,
oh no, she's got the
she's got
she's
the
got the
eldest gene.
firstborn. Yes.
That's so funny. That is so funny. And one remarkable thing, well, many remarkable things about you, but one thing that I love and will never forget is how much you love football.
Ah,
Who brought that into your life and how, like, and I mean,
yeah.
because it's
So funny.
strong in you. It is strong
It,
in you.
it is strong in me, though. Being a New York Giants fan, like at this point, I just hope they keep losing because I'd like a first round draft pick and just a whole redo. Who brought that into my life? It was honestly this, God, what, this is going to be all about my dad, apparently. But then we're going to get into parts of that relationship where I've
Yes,
gone through a lot of therapy. So
I bet. Oh,
no,
I'm
no.
with you there. I'm with you.
My dad loved football and he
Yeah.
loved the 49ers. And I think that that was, my dad and I, other than him being the singer and all of that, like we were not super close growing up. So the two
Yeah.
things we connected on were music and and football.
Wow.
He was a little distant. My
Yeah.
parents stayed together but divorced when I was 16, and he kind of let my mom take the reins like completely with me. But I could always count on Sunday. He'd put on one of
Yeah.
his Niner sweatshirts, and if he needed to clean the garage, which he did every freaking weekend, like what? We had the cleanest garage in California. Um, he would, he put on that 49er sweatshirt and there would be got the goddamn ball, it was very, and he taught me all about it. And also, I've been friends for many years with a woman named Stephanie Rivera, who when I was
Right.
young,
Yeah.
married, of course, Ron Rivera.
Ron.
Been in my life for a long time. And so yeah, I don't know.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, it is.
It's funny that you said that because with my dad, we were not exactly close too, but the two things he gave me primarily were music and the Cubs. And so
Look
my
at
love
that.
of the Chicago Cubs is directly related to him because it was the one thing we could actually bond over. He didn't understand what I was into, but
Right.
I could talk to him about the Cubs. And so that's
Look at
kind of where
that.
that came from.
And isn't
Yeah.
that amazing that now that we're elderly, I'm kidding, we're not elderly.
Oh,
We're getting
there's
there.
times where I feel that.
Um, uh, you know, that you look back
Yeah.
and I think at the time you don't understand how formative or how, it almost feels like a superficial connection because it's not it
Yes.
doesn't feel like an emotional
Right.
thing at that time, but like I know whenever I've been out on dates, like the guys are like, wait, what I don't know, an
A
onside kick,
linebacker.
whatever. Yeah, I'm like, of
Right.
course you do.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
yelling at the TV, and it's like,
I
so
l- and I love that about you. And honestly, knowing who I was when we worked together, the fact that you were into football made me go, "Oh, so you can be a beautiful woman and love sports and have so much passion for it." Because like my love for the Cubs is huge, and I know
right.
you're like you start football. Don't you do like pools and stuff
Oh
on
my
every
God.
show you're on?
I
And
haven't lately, but yes, I
yeah,
definitely did football pools on Finding Neverland and Charlie and the Chocolate
yeah,
Factory. And
and I love that.
yeah, yeah.
I love it. And have you won big
Fans
ever?
are like, wait, what? Grandma Josephine is doing the football pool from Charlie. Yep.
And have you won?
Oh,
Have you ever
I
been a
won
big winner?
that first year. That first year I won. I won like
Good.
$500 that
Good for
year.
you.
Yeah, it was great. Yeah, but I'm like the one mom in the dad's fantasy football league.
Love it.
Um,
Love it.
yeah.
That is so awesome.
Yeah, it's
To the extent that you're comfortable, because I know your mom was very, very close to you. Like, can you just maybe
you met my
talk?
mom, right?
Yeah, oh yeah, oh
Yeah,
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 yeah.
yeah.
And then obviously, see all your connections and that, and I know you have Gracie. So like, can you just explain kind of what she is to you, what she means to you? I know you said she basically raised you. Like, what is it? I'm sure there's many things that make her very special, but like, I lost my dad 2 years ago and didn't realize how much of me and him are in common. We have a lot more in common than I ever thought. And he really was more impactful on my life than I even thought at the time. And so that mourning period of losing him was first like mourning what could have been because we weren't very close, and then mourning what actually we did have. And
Right.
so it took a lot longer than I was expecting. So just if you, again, to the extent you're comfortable, just kind of maybe talk about that, especially being a mother,
Yeah.
you know, how that all has hit you and how you've made it.
No, my mom had a very interesting life. My great grandparents came over from Italy.
Yeah.
And, so my grandfather was raised in Kansas by two, you know, full Italian blood. My great grandfather had a store, and my great grandmother was a homemaker, of course, at that time. And he really, bringing it all back, he really wanted to go to UCLA and play football. That was his
Oh,
dream,
wow.
but they couldn't afford it.
Yeah.
So he moved to California. He became a fireman there. And my he had met my grandma Opal, which is Grace's middle name, Grace Opal.
Love that.
He met my grandmother Opal in Kansas. They moved to California. They had my mom, but like my grandmother, who was very fashionable and stunning, she had bipolar disorder, which
Oh,
back then they didn't. I mean, like, we're talking like one of the first women to have shock therapy in California, because they just didn't know how, they didn't know how to deal with
wow.
manic depressive. Like, there was not
Yeah.
education really.
Yeah.
Um, and my grandfather, being a fireman, was out of the house for 24 hours at a time.
Oh, wow.
So, I think that my mom, one of the things I always, not I resented, I guess is not the right word, but she was always there. Like, everyone was like, why is your mom always here? But they loved her. My mom had a great
Right.
personality and all of that. But
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
it felt to me sometimes like smothering,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
and was acutely aware that someone was always watching, which probably kept me out of a lot of trouble.
Yeah.
Um, but like, even when I got, this is a welcome to my brain. When I got to New York, I remember, I would like call my mom from like clubs and be like, Mom, I'm out partying. And she'd be like in panic mode. But I was so used to her knowing everything. Do you
Right.
know what I
Right.
mean? She was
Yeah.
like, oh my God. I'm like, I'm calling you from the Cheetah at 3 a.m. in New York City. And she's like, ah.
Oh my gosh.
But like, I guess when I think of my mom, it's like nobody cared more. My
Yeah.
mom, and people say this to me now, which is like, I take it as a compliment. Like,
Yeah.
my mom cared so much. She has so many people across this country who she like, some of them my Facebook friends that she never even met, but they were like, God, your mom always made me feel like I could do anything. My friend Wendy, who
Oh,
my mom and she met several times, but Wendy was like, one of the reasons I actually pursued this dream I had of completely changing my life was because your mom was like, Wendy, go out, make it happen. My best
wow.
25 years, Stephen, like, she was a second mom. So like,
Wow.
she was not easy to please. I will tell
Yeah.
you that, you
Yeah.
know, my sister and I joke about the comments of us coming downstairs and her being like, oh, is that what you're going to wear? And you're like, no, maybe I'm not. I don't know. Should I change? But I guess that's a mom thing. But like,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I see that example. And my big thing for Grace is that, I never for one second felt like I needed to earn my mom's love. Like, it was just absolutely there. Like, I remember being like 10 years old, and I don't even remember why, but like, we were sitting in the hallway of my childhood home
Yeah.
and having like an open-hearted conversation just on the floor in the hallway. I don't
Oh,
I don't even remember honestly,
oh
Landon, what
my
it was
gosh.
about, but like, I knew that I was safe and that I was, and she was hard on me. Like she'd come see every performance, be like, that was really good, but that one note, like, I'm like, you're not a singer, like, leave me alone.
Wow.
You know,
Yeah.
the amount, it wasn't just like she showed up and was like, that was great. It
Yeah.
was like, well, 2 performances ago, you sang it like this, and then like the amount of attention.
Right. Yeah.
Sometimes someone shows that attentiveness, you're like, oh my God, like, yeah, I don't, it's, I think of, I mean, I wouldn't be where I am if I wasn't raised by someone who, again, gave me confidence disproportionate to my talent. Like,
Right. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So it was
I
great.
think it's great though, that sense of paying attention. Like, again, most parents would just, as you said, kind of be like, oh, that was great. You were wonderful. I never took my eyes off of you. But again, setting you up for now what you're used to in the industry, like, hey, not bad to have mom say 2 performances ago, much better. So you kind of, I honestly, I applaud that. I do, because, we're in an industry where people will come at you with everything. And so to kind of have the best of both worlds there, I think was a probably a good balance, right?
I think so. I mean, it's as a almost 48-year-old human who, I mean, but I'm sure anyone listening to this, like, age is a number, right? Like, you
Right.
feel whatever, but like, the further I get away from being that little girl, and having my own little girl, it's like there are new discoveries every day
Yeah.
about some, listen, and what this show is called, right? Like, some of that is positive, and some of it, and I'm not talking just about my parents, but like, some of it is really fucking negative too.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
sometimes it doesn't land and
Yeah.
how shitty something was
Right.
until you're in a different moment, or you're watching one of my students go through something,
Yeah. Yeah.
like, so,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I have not ever in my life been a person who has felt lack of support or encouragement. And
Good.
I don't take that for granted. And
Yeah.
I try my best to give that to others. I mean, that's why my child is named Grace, if I'm being honest with you. Like,
Yeah.
I wanted to constantly be reminded to give others grace and give myself grace,
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh God, I love that. So obviously I'm getting the sense now that, you're definitely prepared to go to New York. You've gone to an amazing university, CCM. You have great parents. You seem to have an amazing work ethic. So you get to New York. What was it that first just totally caught you off guard about the entire experience, that you were just like, oh my God, CCM didn't prepare me for this, or I've never experienced this. What do I do now? What was that? Do you remember what kind of that first thing was?
I think I do. And it was, again, given the nature of this show, what, I showed up in New York City, not looking my age.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just the truth of the matter.
Yeah.
I was larger. I had very, very short hair, and I just looked like a soccer mom. Bless that. Like, bless soccer moms. Listen, I get it. But like, for me, the going into auditions, like, nothing about the way I looked matched the way I sounded or my
Sure.
age, anything. Do you know what I
Sure.
mean? So
Yeah.
for me, even though CCM was very harsh, and they would be like, if you're not skinny, you're fat, and like, that sent me down my own freaking
Oh, I
spiral.
bet.
Like, for me, and the other thing was too, was, my agent would get comments like, well, she has the best voice we heard all day, but she can't act.
Oh,
So for me to first of all feel so, and look at who I'm speaking to, but like, so out of place in my own body, like, I was,
right.
and to be, and this continued, and I'm happy to like talk more about that, but like, to have that, and then also be told that my acting is not good enough to get me to the next step.
Yeah.
I mean, it knocked me off any pedestal I'd put on myself, put myself on.
Right.
So, I did, and that is, again, this is something I want to talk about a little later here with you, but like, because the industry is so much now more open to normal people, you know what I mean?
Yeah, we're getting there. We're getting there. Yeah.
But so much more than
Oh,
1999.
yes.
Like,
Yes.
OM.
Yes.
So and I remember this casting director calling my agent once too, or not my agent, but a friend who was, I don't, maybe he was in casting, and saying, "Well, is she skinny Kristy right now or fat Kristy?"
Oh,
Yeah.
oh my God. Oh my God.
So for me, the thing that CCM didn't prepare me for was what a complete and total attack on my self-confidence in terms of the way that I looked.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And knowing that that really does happen. Like, I mean, I've been in the room, not nearly the rooms that you've been in, but yeah, I mean, I was astounded the first time the casting director was just so abrupt and direct and not thinking about how this is going to be received. Just, I'm the shit. I do my job. You need me more than I need you kind of attitude. And then just putting everyone in their place. And I was like, well, fuck, this is what they meant by having a tough skin.
Yeah.
Because, like,
Yeah.
yeah, it was brutal. It was brutal.
I mean, I haven't, that's, I want to say, and I'm not going to say this person's name. That's the only person who ever said anything like that. Like,
Yeah.
but like, it doesn't mean though that just because it wasn't said, I mean, one of my big first things I was up for, a Broadway job, I didn't get because I didn't fit in the costumes.
And what
And I
was
was like
that?
a size 8 at that time, huh?
What was that? The big,
What show was it?
yeah. If you can say.
Yeah, it was Aida, to
Oh,
a cover of M. Naris and Aida, yeah.
yeah.
And the feedback was she was great. She's not going to fit into the costumes, and we're not remaking all of those costumes. And I
Oh
was
my
like,
God.
okay.
And so was that audition and all of that? Was that before even Wicked?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
like right away you get to New York and you're already finding success. Right?
mm,
I mean, to the point that you're getting callbacks and
I mean,
interest.
of course,
Yeah.
that's 99. And I think one of the first things that I did was a Gilbert and Sullivan show with the New York Gilbert and Sullivan Players,
Wow.
which was great to have, like, my first gig in New York City be it was considered an off-Broadway contract, but
Yeah.
meta, like, you're talking to a belter, right? So
Yeah.
like, that was really great, and I met some really, really lovely people through that process. And then I did some regional stuff. I did some off-Broadway, Boobs the musical.
Boobs.
And this is all through a point when I was temping all day,
Yeah.
every day. And I was like, honestly, I was like starving myself. Like, I would have a protein bar for breakfast. I remember this so distinctly. I would have lettuce with a can of tuna and some oil
Oh,
and vinegar for lunch. Like, I was
oh,
very, but I ended up losing 30 pounds. I grew my hair out, and all of a sudden, there we were.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. It probably cemented for you more and more that this truly is an industry about looks too. Probably more than anyone had explained to you.
Well, I think they tried. They didn't do it in a very loving way.
Right.
Um, but it is something that I have no tolerance for any longer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. I'm with
so,
you.
so, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It
Isn't
was
it
kind
crazy that our industry, there was a time where that was totally allowed, where like someone like, and he's great, Bob Fosse, but all the
yeah,
stories, like there was a time where that was just run of the mill every day. You just knew it and you accepted it and you rolled with it. And it's kind of staggering to think sometimes that we're in that industry. And thank
yeah.
God it's evolved.
I had something pop up on my, I have an app called Time Hop where it shows you
Yeah.
like from the past and all that.
Yeah.
One of my post was like, how dare colleges be at this point in time still asking applicants their weight? I was
Oh,
like, shame on you.
yeah.
Don't put your weight.
Yeah.
So,
And I know for a fact, and I'm not going to say which ones, there are still universities that do it.
What?
Oh yeah. Yeah. I know from just last year going to one of those combined auditions where I had several students tell me, I would say, oh, I heard that your university used to ask this, and they're like, used to. They just did it to me 2 weeks ago. Yeah. Oh yeah.
I don't,
It's
I
still
don't,
happening.
I don't even have a response to that.
I know.
If they're listening, shame on you. Take that off right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
How dare you?
I agree. I agree. And I know you've kind of talked ad nauseum about Wicked, but I also know that you would do that till the cows come home. I am more interested though in how is it reliving this entire experience through Grace now, like through her eyes, having her, and just all the fervor that's around it. Like,
it is.
How does that feel?
It's a lot of fervor.
Yeah.
I'm literally like, it's great. I'm so happy.
Right.
So, but I'm like, I'm so sick of Wicked right now.
I bet. No, I bet.
So it was great. So like, you know, back in October, the original cast was invited to come see, you know, advanced screening. And I honestly think I blacked out for 2.5 hours. Like I still have not gone back to see it again, and I have to, but like
Yes, you do.
the processing of something, you know, so well.
Yeah.
In a different medium, you know what I'm saying? Was just like my brain couldn't, and it wasn't about any performances. I thought the performances were astounding. I thought the performances were astounding. I thought the vocals were great. I loved it. But for me, it was like, I'm such a image-based person that when you're standing singing Defying Gravity or The Wizard and I, like like, what are you seeing? I'm having to imagine that I'm not just looking out in an audience, right?
Right.
So to have that not quite line up with what now I was seeing in a visual representation.
Yeah.
It wasn't good or bad. It was just, I needed to process.
Right.
So it's amazing. And listen, I mean, I met Ariana Grande, my God, I don't even know, about 2008. I mean, it's been a long time.
Yeah.
And she was so wonderful. Like she was so I was a bit of a doubter going in, I will admit, but like,
me too.
I think she should win all the awards. I mean, it was so spectacular.
Agreed.
And Cynthia Erivo gave my favorite performance on a Broadway show ever in The Color Purple. So like she can be wrong. Like I felt, and then I got to have a really lovely conversation with John Chu. The after party. And you know, what was so great about it was that, you know, his respect for the piece, like he saw the tryout in San Francisco. And which I was not part of. I joined original cast Broadway, but you know, to hear someone who had such respect for the piece, like it felt great, you know. I mean, listen, I don't claim any ownership over anything in the movie. I was not chosen to be part of the ensemble singing, which is no, it's okay. They chose only 3 people from the original Broadway cast, all men. So well, it is what it is. But like my prized possession, right, is my platinum Decca CD with my name that they sent, you know. So like, I think I understand what a legacy this is, to have been part of the original cast, to have my solo lines on the album. And you know, like the other night at karaoke, what was the last song my child sang of the evening with her new friend?
Defying Gravity.
100%. And she knew every line. They even did Loathing, and she knew or What Is This Feeling? Is the name of the song.
Yeah.
I was like, Grace, how do you know that? And she's like, I just do, mommy. I was like, okay.
So how, like, when it comes to Grace, like, I mean, her friends have to know about Wicked, and like, she gets to be able to tell her friends, my mom was Elphaba on Broadway and in Chicago. Like, what is she going through? Is she now a rock star in her own right with her friends? Or
so funny, because I think that to her, well, right now we have 2 Christmas trees because we do. But the tree in front of me is hers that she gets to decorate.
Yeah.
Glinda's on the top. Elphaba's further down. So she's Glinda. She's Glinda. But she, you know, listen, she saw her. This is a fun little story. So my first Broadway show I ever saw was right before I moved to New York, right before I graduated from college. And my mom was like, I have to take you to New York. You're planning to move there and you've never been there. What if you hate it? Right. And here I am 25 years later, where you're still like, you have to drag me out kicking and screaming. we saw Titanic. That was the first Broadway show I saw, and she saw, because she'd never been either, at the
Wow.
London Theater.
Yeah.
And the first show that my child saw was Charlie and the Chocolate Factory with me on stage at the Lumpfontein Theater. I
Oh
mean,
my
that is,
God.
yeah,
Ah,
it's crazy, you know? So for her though, and we have this conversation a lot, for her, it's just very normal.
yeah. Yeah.
For her, she's like, you know, I mean, her teacher like is a huge Wicked fan right now, which is really sweet, but it's just normal. It's just normal. Like she
Yeah.
once told, I remember she was like 3, 4, maybe 4 or 5. And I was paying for gas at a gas station. She was like, excuse me, my mom was Elphaba. Like, just like this gas attendant was like, I don't care, pay and get out. But she, you know, she has this year alone sung at Lincoln Center twice. She got cast as Grace in Annie at her school.
Yeah.
And she's a character in an upcoming animated series. She's recorded 26 episodes as
Wow.
this character. So like for her, it's just like, it sounds crazy, but like that's
No, I get it.
that's the dynamic of New York City.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
And it's old hat. Yeah. Mom
Yeah.
did it. Now I'm doing it.
But I read a great book as a young parent that was oh God, I'm not gonna remember the exact name of it, but like how to raise an empathetic child.
Oh yeah.
Because to me that's so important, especially in the world that we live in. And you know, she, while it's like, oh, I have to go home and record this voiceover today, which is a little like snotty, she also is like, her teachers always say she's such a vocal advocate for everyone in the classroom. And, you know, so trying to keep her, you know, her feet on the ground. But
Sounds
yeah,
like you're doing it. Yeah.
but I think, yeah, I mean, yeah, it's good. It's kind of crazy.
So this could be a ridiculous question, but like, how do you even digest the fact that you were a part of something that is currently bigger than anything, but like, as far as just the overall success of even the Broadway musical is now, you know, getting up there in years with, you know, almost Phantom of the Opera and Les Mis, and like, you're a part of that now. And like, how do you process that, or how do you digest it? What do you feel, especially
when I figure it
seeing all
out,
of
I'll let
this?
you know. When
Yeah,
I figure
okay.
I'll let you know.
I
No,
figured.
it's honestly, I was, you know, I was 25, 26
Yeah.
when I booked that. And oh yeah, speaking of like my mom keeping it real, little throwback here. She saw Wicked in previews and she was like, are you sure you can really play that role? I was
Oh
like,
my gosh.
but like, no. But like, because she was worried. Listen, my grandfather was like, I will pay for my Italian grandfather was like, I will pay for every penny of college if you don't go for musical theater. And I was like,
Wow.
yeah. And I was like, no, I can't, I have to. And then he died and left me enough to pay for it anyway. But like, you know, like that was nice. But they're just, you know, they're realists, I guess. But
Yeah.
process that. I don't, you know, honestly, it's almost half of my life.
Yeah.
So, and you know, listen, it has long outlived. I was in the show for 4 years. It's
Right.
obviously long outlived me, but I think something that's really great is that the producers are very cognizant of our contribution. I mean, I
Yeah.
invited to the 10-year, I sang on the 15th. We got invited to a great party for the 20th, the
Yeah.
opening of the movie. Like it, you know, it's really lovely. And we actually, if I'm feeling all right, because I do feel a little under the weather today, there's the original Broadway cast has a little party, Christmas party tonight.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, listen, Wicked has opened so many doors for me, you know, so many doors. And I am forever grateful for it. It was, you know, I'm not gonna lie, and we probably talked about this those years ago in St. Louis, but like there were some traumatic moments. I'm not gonna
Yeah.
lie.
Yeah.
It was the hardest thing I'd ever done.
Yeah.
And what was crazy about it was that, like, right as I took over as Elphaba, right, my dream, all I ever wanted, I was just met with a neck injury and then a flu where I had to be in the hospital for 3 days, and then strep throat that I sang through, and my chords then were for the first time in my life imperfect, and then followed by like it was one trauma after
Yeah.
the other, because all I
Yeah.
wanted to do was be doing good work.
Right.
It was so
Right.
important to me that every single time I stepped on that stage as Elphaba, you don't get 60% from me
Yeah.
ever. That
Yeah.
is not who I am.
Right.
And I always joke I'd like to go back and just do one performance with who I am now and the reflection
Oh,
I have
I bet.
of that experience.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But like, it's it's amazing. I still
Yeah.
like, I don't mind telling you and anyone listening that like the original cast still gets 2 checks a year from that cast album.
Wow. That's nice. The gift
Royalty.
that keeps on giving.
It's not huge amounts, but like
Hey.
it's amazing. Like, are
Yeah.
you like so
Well, and first for your first Broadway gig, like
oh,
not too shabby, huh? Like it's going to be hard to equal that bar after that. So that being said, that leads me to this kind of like hypothetical, because thank goodness we don't have to worry about this, but had your career ended, or had your Broadway career ended after Wicked, would you have felt like, okay, yeah, this was great. It was a good run and I'm ready for whatever's next? Like, or did it make you hungry? Did it make you want it more now?
when I came back to New York, I needed a good amount of time to decompress. And I
Mm.
think any Elphaba would tell you that
Oh
it's
yeah.
just, you need time to decompress from
Well,
that.
because you're living like a nun in a convent. You're not
Yeah.
talking during
And
the day. You're not
what
doing anything.
sucked was that I was fine for the first 6 months. I
Right.
have to steal. But like then I sang through strep throat. So any singer out there, just a little PSA. If you have something like strep throat or tonsillitis and you've gone to your ENT and they're like, listen, your vocal cords are swollen, like no matter what, take some time,
Yeah.
because the one of the greatest regrets I have in my life, and I went on because it just happened to be a week that the creative team was there.
Yeah.
So I forced myself through it.
Oof.
And I fucked up my vocal cords. And until um I had surgery for a vocal cord surgery for a totally different problem, but I lived with pre-nodular vocal cords
Oh.
from 2006 through 2012.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I was
Wow.
so every day I was like, "Yee!" But then anyway, I had a blood vessel come to the surface in my,
Right.
which I had surgery, and when I was having that surgery, he removed they never got hard, like it was never like hard
Yeah.
nodule, but still like
Were you
um
fucking freaking getting that surgery?
I remember Dr. Sulika is his name. He's amazing. And just as I went under, he said, "Don't worry, you're not my first Elphaba and you won't be my last."
Oh, that's huge. That's huge. That's really good.
and
Good for him.
and and I woke up and I had a bad reaction to the anesthesia. I threw up immediately
Oh,
after vocal cord surgery.
oh my God. Yeah, I'd
But
be losing it. I'd be losing it.
knock on wood, right? That was 2012. We're 12 years later, right?
Yeah.
Had done 2 more Broadway shows, 3 off-Broadway shows,
Yeah.
raised a kid, teach all day, teach voice lessons. My chords are back to like I have zero problems. So
That's awesome.
I'm very grateful. It just really sucks that the problems started in the middle of my dream job
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
because of something I could have controlled
Right. Right.
and didn't.
Yeah. But I think you saying that is huge, because again, we both teach now and worked with some amazing students. And I'm the same way. I tell them, like, listen, 2 things that I wish I would have known from day one: take care of your voice, take care of your body. Like, just, you
Yeah,
cannot stress how important that is. Yeah,
absolutely.
absolutely. So
I
that's
didn't
amazing.
actually answer your question, I don't think, but like, if that had been the end, I don't know. I started teaching pretty close after that.
Right.
I'm a person who just believes that like things unfold as they're supposed to, as long as I'm open to it and aware and seizing the opportunities.
Yeah.
I got during that time that I wasn't doing Broadway, I got to do a lot of really cool things. I did
You
a
got to
lot
work with
of
me.
roles. I got to dream, I got to work with you. I got to create that role, like, and
Yeah.
I remember, I'm sure you remember I was doing a ton of voiceover at the
Yep.
time too.
Yeah.
I got married, I had a kid. Um, and then I got promoted to creative director of the program that I'm at.
Yeah.
And right after that, I had Grace. And then like right after that, I got Finding Neverland, right into Wonderettes, right into Charlie. So
Yeah.
it was a really amazing run of time. And now, like just this morning, I actually have an opportunity for a really great audition, but it would take me out of town for 4 months
Oof.
creating a role.
Yeah.
And I can't do that with a 10-year-old. I wouldn't do that with a
Right.
10-year-old. So like
Right.
all the doors are open. I just feel such a sense of ownership of who I am now and what I
Yeah.
want to do. Um, so, and I think you're exactly right. Honestly, like because I played Elphaba and like, what am I going to do to top that?
Right.
It had given me for a long time, I was like, oh my God, I need to reach that again. And then I was like, you need to stop because
Yeah.
not going to.
Right. Yeah.
More that this is what you're chasing, the
Mhm.
more you are ignoring possibilities around you.
Yeah. But
So,
I
yeah,
mean this when I say this, if I was looking at someone's career that I would want to emulate, it's yours from the standpoint that you've had, and I mean this, you've done Broadway now, some amazing roles, obviously. And now you're in charge of fostering that love and that,
yeah,
passion and doing it correctly with your students at a school that is just emerging every year. I read all the trades, and like New York Film Academy is just boom, boom, boom. Each year the rating goes up. And
thank you.
I'm just so proud of you for what
Oh,
you've done at that, and not only in that position. I know you started as instructing song interpretation and stuff back in the
yeah,
day. How long ago was that?
2009.
2009. And now you're the head. You're the head
I'm
of the program
I'm the head. Yeah. And just as of today, I'm the
as
head
of
of
today.
Performing Arts College.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like, I mean, that's astounding. That's astounding. It really is. I
Thank you.
mean,
Well, I mean, I listen, I so appreciate that. They give me a lot of trust.
yeah,
And listen, I have high expectations of my students and of the performances we put on and performances we put on. What that was a weird sentence. And our performances and how they present themselves to the industry and who they are in the industry. You
yeah,
know, like, and because I take it really personally.
yeah,
I'm training you to do what I spent my life training you
yes,
to do. So
yes,
not that like they don't owe me anything at all, but
right.
that's what I love about our school too, is that it's
Yeah,
like, hey, you're working with people who've done it.
yeah,
So it's an extra level of accountability.
yeah. And they're getting that, you guys are fostering that appreciation, and I think much needed reverence to the art form.
Yeah,
There's so many schools out there, God bless them, they're trying their best, but because they have maybe professors or instructors that have been teaching for 40, 50 years, and they're great at it, we know this is an industry that's always evolving, and
right.
you always have to kind of keep up. And that's, in watching you and your work, that's the thing I applaud the most, is you're not only just out there still doing it, but you're walking the walk, you're talking the talk, you're able to really instill in them a sense of like the business, not just the art, or not just the art and not,
I'm
the
I'm
business. Like,
I'm
you're giving it to
listen,
them all.
I'm sure you're doing that too. Like I know you are, knowing who you are and your kind open-heartedness. And I mean, it's so important to that they know you care. And I
Yeah.
know you care a lot. And I also too think, like again, just knowing the person you are, that it needs to be a holistic approach. You're
Yeah.
approaching the whole person.
Yeah.
It's not just
Absolutely.
what can they bring to the audition room or the performance. Like it's so much more than that. And so, I give you a
Yeah.
virtual hug for that, because like you're creating you're helping to create a mindset of, I don't just show up and do a job. I'm part of something, and what I bring in this theater door, this stage door, matters.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Matters.
Yeah.
And I watch my students claiming their power in the sense of, you know, I don't, you know, and I need a day off from school. Okay, take your
Yeah.
day off from school. You can't attend rehearsal tonight if you don't show up to class. Take your day off. Do you know what I mean?
Right. Right. Right.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. And oh God, I love hearing that, because I agree. Like, you can have the most talented person in the world, but if it's not the whole body, if it's not the whole mind, if it's not in every fiber of their being, you worry about them, because we both know this industry it can chew you up, it can spit you out. And if you don't, like you said, take that holistic approach, I think you're missing it, because you have to work on the mental, you have to work on the vulnerability, you have to work on all those things that we had talked about, where you have a casting director say to you, the shittiest things, and you need to know, okay, my value is more important, and who I am is more important. I'm not going to let that knock me down, because there's going to be many things that are going to come in your way to knock you down.
Yeah.
Which we can beautifully segue into. You said earlier, and again, you said you would be more than happy to go into it. Tell me about that idea that you weren't comfortable in your skin, you weren't comfortable in your body. You had said, something along those lines. Like, how have you overcome it, if you've even overcome it?
I mean, I think I've overcome it with age. I have to just be very honest with you.
Yeah.
Like, I went to my costume fittings for Wicked, and I would jump in front of a bus for Susan Helferty, who designed our costume. Like, I love this woman so much. I love Alice, who is the wardrobe supervisor and has been since day one.
Wow.
But I went into a costume fitting, and I was, at that time, I want to say like a size 6'8". Okay. And the Emerald City dress for just my ensemble track wouldn't zip over my boobs. And the designer and owner of the costume shop said, someone's not really a size 6 now, are they?
Oof, 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 oof.
And I said something ridiculous like, no straight man has ever complained, or something.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It was, I just, and this is after I'd lost 30 pounds.
Oh my God.
Right. So
I would kill to be a 6'8". My God.
I know, me too. But
wow.
But like, even in that moment, I was like, wow. How did I don't know how I overcame it. I think, I think the second 2 Broadway shows, being after giving birth and your body totally changes, like, you just, I don't know. I mean, I honestly think it's age. And I think that's one of the things I have no fucks to give anymore.
Fucks left. Yeah, exactly.
I have no fucks left, because I work out 4 to 5 times a week, and we're talking like I'm burning 500 calories on my watch, right?
Right.
But like, my body is just not, I'm not supposed to, it's just not what it is. I'm not going back eating a protein bar and a can of tuna. Like, I'm not a cat. I'm not doing that. So like, so also, like, this is maybe a vulnerable thing to say, but I did date someone after my divorce for a long time, who, I mean, told me every day how beautiful I was.
Yeah.
Which you don't know you need it until you're hearing it, and you're like, I fucking needed to hear that, So that helped me a lot. With the body image and all of that. I mean, listen, I think I will always struggle, because I'm aware of how important it is in this business that I've chosen, like, but I also now know, right? I've not gotten things because I look too young, so it is
exactly.
As you get older, it does start to balance out a bit more. But like, it was,
I
Yeah.
mean,
And
one
it's
of the things that are really, it's, you know, not lost on me that now I have to compete against women of your ilk. And I'm just like, how does one do that? You know, I was confident as a male performer in the sense that I could be as confident as I possibly could have been. But now I'm just like, well, I don't want to just be limited to just roles for a trans or intersex person. Like
yeah.
that's not what I'm into at all. I want to be able to play roles that otherwise could just be anything. But I also recognize that I could walk into an audition room, you know, at the Equity Building and there's Kristy Cates or there's Stephanie J. Block. And I'm just like, yeah, no, fucking can't do
Well, I
that.
don't, well, let me, but how do you do it? Like, that's the thing. I
Yeah.
mean, I don't want to answer that for you, but like, I think authenticity is really on trend right now,
Mhm.
which I love. I mean, I can't, um, I don't know let me ask you, like,
Yeah.
how has that changed for you? How has your audition book changed? Like, like,
Well, I'm going to be very honest. I haven't even contemplated it because, as you know, it's only been like a year.
right.
Now I've directed, and I think I'm a much better director, honestly, which is wild, but I'm a much better director, stage manager. So those things that were a problem to me in last week's episode, I actually talked about how if you came at me thinking you were talking to a man, God help you, because I was not going to respond like that. But many people did that, obviously,
Right,
and they
right.
had every right to do so. But like, I didn't know how to handle that. And so now the things that I do much better in this life and in this role are, you know, top down management, you know, being able to streamline things better and you know, delegating and things like that. The acting thing scares me. It really does, because with the Parkinson's, I was already kind of resigning to, oh, I'll never be on stage again. But miraculously, through this gender transition so far, my Parkinson's has subsided exponentially. I,
Wow.
I know
Oh
it's
my
in
God, that's
fucking
incredible
insane.
news.
Yeah. So now there is that fever again to be like, oh, well, maybe I can revisit this. But also, how do I play a Madame Morrible? Now I know Alexandra Billings did it, and I'm great with that, and I'm so glad she set the way for us. But
Yeah,
like, we still have a long way to go in this industry
right.
towards that full equity as far as, you know, yes, I can cast Blanche as a cisgender, transgender, intersex, like it's open. We're not there yet. You know,
Right.
if
Right.
the role doesn't call for it or have some wiggle room, no one's thinking in that way right now. So
Yeah. I actually just saw one of my friends posted uh I don't remember what the character was. Oh, it was someone's doing Guys and Dolls.
oh,
And they posted Adelaide, absolutely
that's interesting.
non-binary, trans, female identifying, like what, like, because of course, I mean,
Yes.
so
Yes.
I feel hopeful.
Me
Um,
too.
and again, like, not to brag on my school, but that's also something that we've not, like,
Yeah.
like, if a student, like, is bringing what they're bringing to the table and they have the right vibe, like, I
Yeah.
will say MTI, I don't know about Concord theatricals, but like, they very specifically are like, you cannot change gender. And I wonder if they'll take a look at that.
Wow.
It
Wow.
is in the licensing agreements. Um,
Yeah.
but Grace just stepped in to do 9 to 5. She played the son. She played Josh
Oh,
as a boy, like, she as a
I
boy.
love
What
it.
I mean? So like, uh,
It's
I'm
getting there. It's much
hopeful it's
better.
getting there. But like, it doesn't make, and I want to just acknowledge, like, it doesn't make it easier for you
Correct. Yeah.
addressing what you just said, where you're walking in against, like,
Yeah. 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 No,
uh,
it's a scary proposition. And
yeah,
honestly, it's one of the main reasons I didn't do this sooner was because my career is everything. You know, being in this industry is everything. I've sacrificed so much that the last thing I was going to do was throw in the towel on what could be, you know, my happiness. And so, you know, if it was a question between being my authentic self or being this role that I was playing that was getting cast and working and doing everything that I was doing, then that was the one I was going to stick with for at that time. So yeah, I mean, it's weird that at age 51, I'm almost starting a second life basically, you know, but at the same time, I love it. And
But that's what you just complimented me on, just by the way, with my, it's very different because you were
Yeah.
like, but now, so listen,
Yeah.
compliment it back at you.
Well, thank you. You're
And
so
that-
sweet. God,
Oh,
I love you.
Oh, please.
So now I'm going to put on my best James Lipton impersonation.
Oh boy. Okay.
And I've always wanted to ask someone these questions, but never wanted to step on James Lipton's toes. But, you know, dearly departed, he's gone.
Right.
So now we're going to borrow from Bernard Pivot and James Lipton. What is your favorite word?
Fuck.
Love it. I love it. What is your favorite word?
Moist.
I
Yeah.
was not expecting you to say that.
Sorry. Am I supposed to give you like musical theater answers?
No. James asked.
I know.
Yeah,
Okay.
you're right up there with like Robin and all of them now.
Basically,
Yeah. What turns you on creatively, spiritually, or emotionally?
honesty.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one. What turns you off?
Wow. Well, which one do I choose? No. Uh, a sense of feeling like you need to show off.
Yeah. That
Like,
makes sense.
what's the word I want? There's the word. It's
Uh,
not boisterous. It's I don't know.
Excessive, showy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're. Yeah.
But I don't even mean in performance. I mean in
Yeah.
person.
Just in person. Yeah. General.
Yeah.
Constantly always flaunting.
You
Yeah.
know that they're not being themselves. Yeah.
Yeah. Inauthenticity, which
Yeah.
we talked about for sure. Yeah. This may be tied to your favorite word. What is your favorite curse word?
Oh, well, then we should go back. Yeah.
Okay. So what is your favorite word?
My favorite word is accessible. If you are accessible, your heart is open, you are being honest. It's all the things we're just talking about. So my favorite word is definitely accessible. My favorite curse word is definitely fuck. Yeah.
Fuck. Love it. Mine too. What sound or noise do you love?
My kid singing.
Yeah. What sound or noise do you hate?
Construction in New York City outside of my window.
I love it. I would have said sirens. So yeah. What profession other than yours would you like to attempt? Just attempt.
It's a toss-up between a litigation lawyer and something in politics, though.
Yeah.
Terrifying prospect right now, but yes.
Yeah, no, that would have been my answer. I love law. What profession would you never want to do?
I would not want to. I think this just goes back to my temping days. I would not want to be like a stockbroker. Like, yeah, I don't think I would like that. That pressure is like so much now.
Agreed. Anything that can lead you to wanting to kill yourself on a daily basis?
Yeah, no, thank you. Yeah.
No, thank you. Yeah. And if heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say when you arrive at the pearly gates?
I think I would want God to say, good job.
Good job.
You did it. Yeah. You there are a lot of people down there that are going to miss you and your energy, I think.
Fuck yeah. Yeah. For real. Yeah. And I think you it's my 3 questions now. I think you answered one. What do you have no fucks left about? I think you made it pretty clear. So what are you most proud of? Like and the reason why I asked this question is I feel like, again, in our industry, we reached this point where like people weren't allowed to kind of say what they were proud about anymore, or people started looking down on you, and that kind of made me sad. So I'm trying to make it in vogue again to be like, no, you can be proud. So what are you proud of, Kristy? What are you proud of?
I'm, there was a time in my life where I had everything. Like I was in a Broadway show, my marriage was still intact. I had my child. I think I was creative director still at the time at school. I was teaching private voice lessons on breaks. And I'm proud that I navigated all of that. I'm proud that I didn't just say, I can't have everything. I accept the fact that as a woman in this business, I can't have everything. And I kind of said, fuck that.
Yeah.
I can. Now I was exhausted. And it was very challenging, but I am proud that that when these opportunities presented themselves, I didn't say no out of fear.
Good for you.
I said yes. And if I didn't know how to do it, I figured it out. But I'm also proud, because I don't mind sharing. I'm proud that I think that I have a good reputation in a business that you can have a bad. And if you remember when we were, I'm sure you do, I was navigating the end of like a long relationship and a new relationship where that person had then cheated on. Like it was like I was in emotional turmoil. But the fact that you still want to talk to me and still write lovely things, like I guess it couldn't have been all bad.
No.
So I am proud that in a business where people talk so much shit, like I'm sure people definitely talk shit about me, but like I don't think it's over. I don't think it's more than the positives. I hope. Yeah.
And you should be very proud that I think you are an amazing friend. You are so loyal and so loving, and you make everyone in your orbit feel so special, which I can only imagine how much energy that takes, but you do it.
I honestly, going back to the very beginning of this conversation, like, I think that's where Sandy Cates shows up in me. I think my mom did the same thing, so, thank you for saying that. Thank you.
Yeah. And let's just close on this. What's one thing that you've learned in your life? Doesn't even have to be career, just someone taught you either at a young age or even older. One thing that you always try to pass on to someone, one great life lesson that you're like, hey, I learned this. It's changed my life. I want to share this.
Sure. I think it's, my swim coach back when I was a kid would always say, don't practice wrong. Like it's not enough to jump in the water and just do the strokes because you're here. Like take pride in what you do, so that you, at the end of the day, wow, this is making me emotional. So that at the end of the day, you did what you could. And it's all about jumping in the water at 6 a.m. And if you know that what you're working on is that stroke coming directly into the water and feeling it, like, don't get in and do less than that, because why are you doing it?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think it's that. I think it's show up with integrity, and for you, for your heart, for your soul. He didn't care if he wanted me to win, obviously, but it was more about take pride in what you're doing. Yeah. Yeah. So I try to instill that, like, with my students, with, you're here because your passion, your love, your drive led you here. Like, you can absolutely show up and have this song half memorized, but like, at the end of the day, you're letting yourself down. That accountability thing, that's huge. Yeah, it is. Integrity and accountability are really big for me.
Yeah. God, I would love to see you teach, like, just be a fly in the wall. Cause you would be so kind, and I asked for it, folks. Like, she was just doing it. You would be so kind and giving me, like, just vocal tips and things. And they would make such a huge difference. Truly. I would take something you gave me and just implement it immediately. And I'd be like, oh, that was like a life changer. Like, yeah. So I can only imagine how good you are.
Thank you.
I would love to watch that.
Well, hey, get your booty to New York and come sit in.
We'll see. Yeah. But please also don't be a stranger. Like, let's talk more, not just podcasts, because I could interview you every week, but
I have a lot of things to say. I'm sure you know that about
No,
me.
I love it. We could have kept going. I could have, this could have been a four-parter. Because there's many things I would have loved to have gotten in with you. So
I'm more than happy to come back and do part two if you have any
awesome.
questions.
Yeah,
More
we'll
than
do
happy.
that again. And let's keep talking. And I wish you all the best. Have
You
a
too.
great holiday season with Grace and enjoy Wicked.
Thank you. Thank you. And please know you don't need my pride, but like I'm so freaking proud of you
Oh my God. Thank you.
because not only did you claim who you are, you claimed it loud, but not in that word I hate, in a way that was just like, I'm not hiding this anymore.
Yeah.
And you've stepped into you so beautifully and with such grace. And it's just, it's like you are setting an example for so many people, and your voice is so important. And yeah, I'm grateful for you because you're someone that I can point at and I can say, this is what it means to show up for yourself. Like, yeah. So I
Thank
love
you.
I love you. And now I'm gonna cry, but I love you and
I
I'm
know.
proud of you. And I'm thankful that, our paths crossed all those years ago.
Who's hot? What's hot? AJ. Hot take. AJ. Sweet take. AJ. Hot take. Hot take. Hot take. Hot take. Who's hot? What's hot? AJ.
All right, welcome back, everyone. And yes, by the sound of that music, you know it's time for AJ's Hot Takes.
Hot takes. Whose takes? My
Ah.
take.
I miss it. I miss it. It's been a couple of weeks. So
Yep.
hopefully the audience is waiting and ready, and you got some good ones for us. So fire away whenever you are ready.
Oh man. All right. So I have discovered, and actually, I'll just speak for myself. I've
Yes.
discovered that I am no longer a dog person,
Oh,
but but I still have a dog.
right, right,
I
right.
haven't, yeah. So it's inconvenient. We're both really ready to not have a dog anymore. Uh,
Did it do something? Like, did the dog do something to make you no
oh my
longer want it?
God.
Or
Well, so he's aggravated. I mean, honestly he's a great dog. So I mean, he does what he's roughly told.
right?
We got him at 14. He just turned 16 last
Wow.
week. Yeah, so I mean, they told us he was 14. Now, who fucking knows? I'm thinking, and so we thought, okay, yeah, we won't have him that long. 2 years later. And so, but he just gets in the way. He gets
Yeah.
on foot. He'll be behind me. And so, and he's never liked me. So it's always, so I think he had one previous owner who was a woman. And so he took to Trisha
Right away.
quickly,
Yeah.
but it's so bad. He's got like separation anxiety like from her.
Oof. Yeah.
And so if he so in the morning, because we don't let him wander anymore
Yeah.
because he
Good for
gets in
you.
trouble.
Yeah.
And so in the morning we'll let him out and whatnot, and he'll run, and so we'll let him out of where he is, and then he runs. He's got to see Trisha, but I'm trying to get him outside, and so he'll go outside though, and then a minute or two later he'll be back banging on the door. And he he'll come in and he'll have eaten overnight usually.
Right.
And so I know he's got something in him that he needs to deposit, but
Right.
he just goes out, takes a piss, comes back in. And so lately, as of like the last couple months, what he's been doing is going out there, coming back in, finding me and
Oh.
taking a shit near me, a stealth
Oh.
shit. It and so it's not in my head. Trisha even says it feels targeted. I'll be doing the dishes. I'll look over and by my right foot is a pile of shit. Or I'll just be sitting on the bed and then I won't even notice it. I'll smell it. I'll look down by where my foot of the bed is, pile of shit.
Oh my god.
I go into the bathroom. I come out, pile of shit.
Oh my
Like
god. What's his
he
name? What's his name again?
Marley
So Marley is doing hate crimes against you.
doing hate shits. Yeah, and what's crazy is I've never been nothing but nice to the dog. I'm the one who feeds him 99% of the time.
Right.
And I give him all kinds of treats. I give him pizza. I give him steak and stuff. Like just like yeah. So I don't understand what I've done to him. I call him I call out his butt folds. But I mean aside from that,
So does Marley have any health issues? Like, should you maybe go to a behavioralist or a veterinarian to see like if there's something wrong?
well, I mean, I don't think that I doubt it because and this has been going on in just in the last couple of days. I've I'll, I'll I'll run him out. He'll go outside, pee, come back. Well, and the other thing is I have to walk him off the deck. Otherwise, he just pisses and shits on the deck.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, which
Oh,
could be a common occurrence, whatever. That might not make him extraordinary, but it makes
what kind
him
of what kind of dog is Marley?
like a hound dachshund mix. He's like 30 pounds.
Oh,
Kind of I don't know, not a lot smaller than what's it, Callie. Well,
okay. Okay, yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, Callie, I think it was like 40, 50 pounds. Yeah.
yeah, little smaller.
So yeah,
Uh,
okay.
and so yeah, no, he just so oh, but the last couple mornings I've taken him out. He's come back in. I'll let him see Trisha. I mean, not like I've been withholding or whatever. Like I'll make sure he sees her. And I make her greet him because
Right.
so he can finally relax, and then we'll go back out.
Oh
And
my gosh.
I'm eyes on. I'm
Right,
eyes
right.
on. So and then he's usually willing to stay out another minute and do business, but
Is he active? Like, does he run around the yard and stuff or?
no,
Oh, okay.
he's not. Uh, yeah, I mean, he gets wound up.
Yeah.
Sometimes he'll get to where he's somehow got the zoomies and can fucking jump still. Um, yeah, but he's like blind in one eye. He can only hear out of one ear.
Oh,
Um,
oh.
so yeah,
So, not to be mean, but we're pretty much just waiting for Marley to cross over that rainbow bridge.
yeah. I mean, and so we're not like we're not trying to hasten it at
Hasten.
all, but
I was just gonna say AJ's secretly like counting down the days.
no, but when we've decided that when he goes,
That's it.
we are not owning another one. I've got a dog showing up today because I'm gonna be dog sitting for
Right.
somebody, but that's fine. Short stay.
Yeah. I think
Uh,
that could give you your little fill or taste of what you're looking for. And knowing just like they always say grandparents love having the grandkids because they know there's
you
a
go home.
expiration time.
Yeah,
Exactly. It's
exactly.
like 4 o'clock,
Yep,
you're gone and you're someone
yep.
else's issue.
Yeah, so, oh man, you know, 10 years ago, I would have said I'm a dog person. I don't like cats. I'm allergic to cats. Now I've got three cats,
I know.
and I am not a dog person anymore.
I remember when you hated cats, like hated cats. Like
Yeah,
Cece
yeah,
would be over and you would come and that was our first cat too, Cece, and I was not a fan of her as we all know. She was like the spawn of Satan. And but you would just be like, "Get the fuck away." Like you couldn't
yeah. I did not
stand it.
like cats. I was allergic to them. I just accidentally got exposed to them, and then started liking them, and
Oh
then
boy. And
living
you
with
went
them.
crazy. I mean, I remember when you said Harry was your first, right? Or
No,
Lloyd.
no, his
Lloyd.
name, no, it was Nigel.
Oh, Nigel, that's right. God, yeah.
Nigel. Yeah.
You were nuts for that cat. Like,
Yeah.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
totally
Nigel.
remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nigel is great. Oh,
And
or
now
God
you're a
damn
cat
it,
person.
Nigel. Yeah. Now I'm a camper. So
Now you're a cat person.
yeah, we got.
And do we have to worry about you and cats? Like, my daughter is obsessed with cats, as you know, and I think uh, I'm imagining a future where she could be a crazy cat lady and have like 40 or 50 of them. Is that you? Do I have to like make sure to keep you in check?
I don't know. I mean, I didn't think I was a cat person. So
Oh,
like I said
yeah.
10 years ago, I don't think I'm a cat lady person, but we'll have to revisit this in a decade.
So do the cats like Trisha? Like, or is it that Trisha's
Yeah.
just about the dog and the cats are all about you, or is it mutual love and you're just left out of the dog crimes and get hate crimes instead?
No, no, the Harry uh is, I'm her best friend,
Okay.
definitely. And so um but no, the thankfully it's just Marley that is the only one who's got beef against me in the house. Otherwise,
Well,
man.
I have to say that, and this is just I'll play arbiter or judge for a second. If Marley is committing hate crimes against you, then I think you have every grounding to say like, okay, then I'm just not going to take care of you, Marley, anymore. Trish, you're now taking care of Marley.
So, I mean, sometimes she'll hear me and she knows what I'll be like, God damn it. Or the other day I was like, you fucking douche. And so she'll come and usually clean. She cleans most of the more recent ones
Well,
up.
that's good.
Yeah, because yeah, she
That
knows.
is funny.
Because I haven't done anything to deserve it, and that's
I do think it's I mean, again, just based on the story, and I'm sure our listeners will agree, it does seem like the dog is targeting you. It does seem like that.
yes. No, it is he 100% looks for I don't know if he looks forward to it, but he looks for me and
Oh my gosh,
and
that's
does
so
his
funny.
deed. So
That's so funny. We speaking of dogs, we just had everyone over at our house and for Christmas Eve. And it was so funny because like some of the guests that arrived fairly late, it took them a little bit of time to notice that Zuzu was even there. And it was my brother-in-law's girlfriend that first was like, "Oh my God, there's a dog here." Zuzu was so well behaved. I'm telling you,
nice.
like we had this grand plan that we were going to put her in the office while we were eating dinner. And by the time it came time to sit down and eat a very good dinner of brisket, which was amazing,
Ooh,
we thought,
okay.
oh, she's going to get off that couch. She's going to be underfoot and she's going to want handouts. Nope. She laid on that couch the entire time at dinner. And I
Nice.
can't tell you how many times the guests would just be like, your dog is so well behaved. And I was just like a proud parent, like,
Yeah.
yep, that's my baby. She's so
Goddamn
good.
right.
She's so good. So
Yeah,
I guess you just need a dog like her to become a dog person again, but that's not always a
maybe.
guarantee, I guess.
Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe. Like I said, Marley, not I mean, he he does not care about any other animals. Like he just walks by everybody. He's got not a it's seemingly not a care in the world or whatever or a fuck what.
Wow.
But
Yeah.
except one but he's got at least some old
Well,
fucking
he's on the right podcast, and we'll just
resentment.
end it
Yeah.
like that, you know. Marley has no fucks left, and
Yeah.
you have no fucks left for Marley.
Not no. No. That's about at that point. It's
But just think, and again, this is sad, but someday Marley will be a ghost. Quite appropriate around Christmas time to be talking about this. Marley will be a ghost, and I'm
yes.
sure will still haunt your shit. Like you still will sometimes wake up and think you smell dog shit, and it will be
Yeah, it'll
Marley.
it'll be
Just
phantom shits. Yeah.
exactly.
Phantom shit syndrome.
And eventually Marley will be able to talk and say, "Hey AJ, you thought I hated you? You're absolutely fucking right. I
Yeah.
hated you for whatever
We've got-
reason."
You're absolutely fucking right. Uh, That's his voice that I have for him here. He's
I
a
love it.
old crusty. Yeah.
So AJ's hot takes is he's no longer a dog person. Marley is committing hate crimes against, which I love. Yeah. All right. So I'm sure we'll hear more about Marley in the future. Maybe not long future though.
Yeah, you're gonna be here. You're still gonna be hearing about him in 8 years. That motherfucker's gonna
That's
live.
the way it goes.
He's
That's
gonna
the way
live
it
till he's
goes.
25, I bet.
Yep.
So.
Yep.
I have
That's the
no
way it
fucks
goes.
left. No, no. I have no fucks, right? Oh, oh. I have no fucks left. No, no. So fuck off. I'm busy. Bye, bye. Piss off. Not sorry. Don't cry.
Well, that's it. That's all she wrote. A wrap on episode number 9. Can you believe it? Episode number 9. That's so crazy. And I'm so excited and so honored to be doing this show. And I can't thank all of you enough. 2024 was pretty incredible. And I'm hoping and quite confident that 2025 is going to be even better. So until next week, please be sure to like, follow, subscribe, tell everyone you know about the podcast. They have 8 episodes to catch up on before we launch into even more interviews and segments, and we watch this entire show just grow even more in the new year, which I'm very excited about. So, Happy New Year, and until we see you next time, be sure to always take care of yourself, each other, and lead with love. Talk to you soon.
I have no fucks left. No, no, I have no fucks.
No Fucks Left has been a presentation of Transplendent Media. The host and creator of No Fucks Left is Landyn Shaw. The producer is AJ Lubert. Our logo and graphic design has been done by Wally Spence. If you'd like to be a part of No Fucks Left in the future, please visit our website at nofucksleftpod.com. nofucksleftpod.com. Thank you so much.
I have no fucks left. No, no. I have no